The e-cigarette company Juul has agreed to pay a settlement of nearly $500 million for marketing their product to teenagers. And obviously this is really bad for the company. Yeah, $500 million. The whole business has just gone up in strawberry-flavored smoke. This is great news for teenagers because now they have $500 million which they can spend on more Juuls. Yeah! Meanwhile, in education news, New York City has announced that students will no longer get snow days and will instead attend classes on Zoom. Yes, this is a thing. No snow days, only Zoom. Yeah. I mean, luckily this isn't too big of a deal. I know it's sad. But you realize, thanks to climate change, New York's getting snow for what, 2 years max now? Yeah, by 2026, this is basically going to be Florida with better bagels. That's all it's going to be. But I do feel bad for these kids, you know, missing out on such a big part of childhood. I mean, like when I was growing up, there was nothing I loved more than waking up and checking the TV for school closings, and then, you know, and I'd be like, oh, and then I'd remember that I grew up in Africa, you idiots. It doesn't snow there. Think I give a shit about you losing snow days? Get the hell out of here, you dumb kids. Oh, in sports news, the U.S. Soccer Federation has announced that the women's national team will now get paid the same amount of money as the men. Yeah, that's right. That is right. Female soccer players have finally achieved their goal. But you see, ladies, all you have to do is be literally the best in the world at something. And someday, you too will get paid the same amount as men who are mediocre at the same job. It is inspiring is what it is. It is inspiring. All right, but let's move on to some of the biggest stories of the day, starting with the war in Ukraine. And yes, it is still going on, even though you put that flag in your profile photo. I know, I thought it would work too. As the war drags on, the fallout is being felt around the world. Europe is facing skyrocketing energy prices. Africa is still suffering from grain shortages. And America has been forced to part with some of its most beloved missiles. But now, everyone is worried that the next fallout from the war could be nuclear.
This morning, there are fears the Zaporizhzhia nuclear plant in southern Ukraine is accelerating towards a potential disaster. A report just released by a team of UN watchdog inspectors found 7 pillars of nuclear safety have been significantly compromised.
Inspectors who visited the plant say its security is being undermined by constant shelling and Russian military equipment on the site.
New images of damage caused by shelling at that nuclear power plant near Zaporizhzhia. Overnight, the UN's nuclear watchdog urging Russia and Ukraine to immediately cease all military operations in that area and establish a nuclear safety and security protection zone around the plant.
We are playing with fire, and something very, very catastrophic could take place.
I don't want to be that guy, but I think this is a lot worse than playing with fire, okay? This is a nuclear apocalypse. I wish we were playing with fire. He's like, we're playing with fire. This guy needs to, like, up his analogy game. We're talking about the end of human life, and he's like, we're cruising for a bruising here. But yeah, the UN is urging Ukraine and Russia to stop fighting around Europe's largest nuclear power plant. And at this point, like, what is the UN even for, huh? Because even I can urge Ukraine and Russia to not fight around a nuclear power plant. The UN should be able to make them stop. What does the UN do? Please stop. You know what the UN is? The UN is basically turned into those parents who have no control over their kids. It's like, Aiden, don't kick your brother, okay? Okay, well, don't kick him near the coffee table, all right? Kick him over there. And also, this is yet another sign that Vladimir Putin has lost it. Because if a nuclear power plant blows up in Ukraine, that's next door to Russia. You're also screwed. I mean, unless this is what Putin wants. Or maybe he wants a nuclear disaster so that he can roll around in a radioactive cloud and turn himself into a mutant, you know? Yeah, just be like, I have new superpower. I am first Russian with ability to smile. Let's move on from the technology that could kill us all to the technology that helps us waste time on the toilets, the iPhone. Every year, Apple holds a big conference where they reveal the products that we're all going to buy to try and fill the emptiness in our lives. And there's a lot of suspense for these events because nobody knows in advance what they're going to say. Like, it could just be that the camera is a little better than the last time, or they could announce that the new iPhone can read your thoughts. But today's conference was somewhere in between.
It's the day techies have been waiting for. Apple is announcing its new products. Right at the top is the latest iPhone. The new iPhone 14 and 14 Plus both have larger screens, and both are promising longer battery life throughout the day. Also announced, the Apple Watch Series 8. They come in 7 colors. The new watch can track a whole bunch of stuff, including fertility.
The biggest thing happening on the new Series 8 is a temperature sensor that they use for ovulation and tracking menstrual cycles, and also crash detection. So if you get into a car crash, it can actually detect that and automatically call emergency services and send them to your location.
Yeah, that's right, people. The new iPhone and Apple Watch can automatically detect when you're in a car crash. Because you know how sometimes you're in a car crash, but you're like, am I in a car crash? And the phone is like, yeah, you're in a car crash. I also love how the phone is fine in that accident. The car is gone. The phone is like, I'll call the cops for you. Now, obviously, I'm kidding. What it actually does is if you're incapacitated in a car crash, the device will contact emergency services on your behalf, which is a pretty cool feature. Yeah, and if it detects that you're in a fatal accident, it'll automatically delete all your porn in the cloud. Thank you, Tim Cook. Thank you so much. Now, look, I'm all for safety. I'm all for safety. You know, I just hope that if I do get into an accident, you know, that me and Siri are on the same page. Otherwise, it could get a little awkward.
Hello, 911? This is Siri. Trevor was in a car crash.
Oh, thank you so much, Siri.
He was distracted because he was looking at his phone while driving.
What? No, don't snitch, Siri, don't snitch. Come on.
He was scrolling his ex's Instagram.
No, that's not true. I wasn't actually, Siri, I wasn't doing that.
He still misses her even though he's pretending to move on.
No, you know what? Actually, I'm just gonna die. 911, hang up. I'm just gonna die. I'm fine. I'm totally fine. Now, the other big feature that Apple announced is that the watch can now track a woman's menstrual cycle, fertility, and ovulation. Yeah, so if you're trying to conceive, it can tell you what time it is. Yeah, imagine that. Everything, your cycle, your fertility, and your ovulation. A lot of people are excited about this, and a lot of Republicans heard this, and they were like, hey, that's our job. We track the ladies. What are you doing, Apple? But enough about Apple. Let's talk about Barack Obama. You guys remember him? Remember him? He was a black guy, good speeches, never stole nuclear secrets from the government. It's been more than 5 years since Obama left office, but earlier today, he showed up at the White House again to retake power. I'm just kidding. He was there to unveil the painting.
Former President Obama and First Lady Michelle Obama were back at the White House, restoring a tradition, unveiling their official White House portraits.
Barack and Michelle, it's my honor to invite you both to the stage for the unveiling of your official portraits. Come on up.
Okay. There we go. I want to thank Sharon Sprung for capturing everything I love about Michelle. Her grace, her intelligence, and the fact that she's fine. She is.
Oh, get a room, you do? No, seriously, get a room at the White House and help Biden figure his shit out, please. Just get a room there. That is so great. I'm not gonna lie, I am not an art expert. You know, I don't know the difference between Michelangelo and the other Ninja Turtles, but what is going on with the Obama portrait? Like, why is he standing in a white void? I don't get it. It looks like he got his portrait taken at the DMV. Why does it look like this? It's just like, my license expired, so let's kill two birds with one stone. What is he doing here? No, because these portraits are going to hang in the White House forever. You understand that? They should look White House. Like, look at Michelle's. She looks like a movie star painted by a French artiste. Obama's look like they ran out of printed toner for the background. It's like there's nothing in the... You know, if you ask me, it's actually kind of ridiculous that they even do portraits anymore. Just take a picture. Right? The only reason they did portraits back then is they didn't have technology. Just take a picture. A portrait takes so much time. You gotta sit there for 3 hours while they're painting you. And then when they're finally done, they're like, okay, now a silly one. Also, it must be really weird to live in a house with portraits of your enemies. Do you ever think about that? Because they hang these in the White House, but you're not in the White House anymore. The person who's in the White House probably doesn't roll with you. So you've just got enemies in your house. Like, imagine if we had to do that. Imagine if every one of us were like showing people around your house, like, this is my ex who cheated on me, and this is the guy who beat me up in 5th grade, Brad. He was pretty strong guy. That's what presidents have to do. Obama had to walk down hallways looking at George W. Bush's picture. Donald Trump had to sit on the toilet with a portrait of Bill Clinton looking down on him, you know? Just like, look away, I can't go when I'm being watched. I can't do it. Why did I put the picture in the bathroom? You know what would actually be cool? It would be cool if these portraits were alive, like in Harry Potter. Yeah? Wouldn't that be amazing? Because then if Trump did go back to the White House, Obama's portrait would be there helping him out. Donald, be careful with those documents. They're classified. Don't eat while you read them, Donald. You're getting ketchup all over them. What's wrong with you? Quick, the Saudi ambassador is coming. Hide the documents. No, don't sell the documents to the Saudi ambassador. Come on, Donald. Donald, what are you doing? God, this bitch is dumb. Oh my God, I can't believe it. All right, that's it for the headlines. But before we go to a quick break, let's check in on the stock market with our very own finance expert, Michael Costa, everybody. Good to see you, Mike. So, what's going on? What's happening in the market today?
I am crushing it. I mean, I am. I'm crushing it so hard, my Apple Watch sent a notification asking if I was in a car crash, okay? Now, I was, but I fled, so it's fine, okay? So, I got an HT for you. I got an HT for you as well, so, all right? So,
what?
That's HT, short for hot tip. I like saying HT because it saves me time, but then I kind of have to explain that it's hot tip. It may even cost me more time. You know, I may just start going like this. T. T. Which one do you prefer, Trevor?
I just want to know what's happening in the market, Michael.
Oh, the markets. Okay,
yeah,
cool. Look, this is the Apple stock chart since the inception of the company. And why this is important, Trevor, actually, before we do this, that story about Juul, the e-cigarette company.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, they took a hit with that $500 million settlement. Look, you can't market to teens, all right? Now, my question, though, is how does the Teen Choice Awards get away with it, all right? Clearly marketing to teens, okay? This is why I'm the expert. You get it? And speaking of Juul, okay? If you're trying to quit, do what I do. Suck on a USB stick, okay? It's no nicotine. I find them all over the office, okay? Let me get to the stock chart, okay? Now, now they launched these new products, including the iPhone 14. But you know, hold on, but one more thing. The story about the snow days. Kids losing the snow days. Yeah, I know everyone's worried about kids missing school, but it's okay to have a few days off. Look, I'm from Michigan. In the winter, we had so many snow days, I barely went to school. And look how good I done now learned, right? See? All right, Apple. These guys are crushing it. But for a really long time, they weren't making any money because they were just selling fruit. You know what I mean? And they're selling it for like $2. And then Steve Jobs comes around. He says, why don't we sell the iPhone for like $1,000? Bang, they start making money, right? Steve Jobs. Is that a coincidence that he's named after the way we all make money? Exactly, all right? So now, let me give you my HT, all right? That's hot tip. I call it HT because it saves me time.
Yeah.
Right, okay.
Yeah.
So what you name your kid will determine their success in life, which is why my son's name is Powerball Costa. So that's my hot tip.
All right, Michael Costa, everybody.